Hello, hello, and a wonderful day to you. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. It's a great topic, and I appreciate you hosting this event. And I'm just going to jump right into it because we had some things unexpected happen. So today's topic is keeping our lives on track on purpose. And it's something that invites all of us to deliberately approach living our lives with intentions. You guys have heard me talk about intention before, and I believe it's relevant for all of us. So I'm going to be focusing today, I think, on three different key principles of this. There's taking charge of our own path, leveling up our hearts in a way through forgiveness, and paving the way to success through compassionate action. And I think you've probably heard me talk about all three of these at one point or another. But these concepts, they're not just transformative for us if we take them seriously, they're also grounded in psychological and neurological research. So when we talk about taking charge of our own lives, we're talking about assuming the full responsibility for our decisions and direction rather than relying on external validation or promises from other people, often come up short. Psychological research on self-determination theory highlights that autonomy, right, which is referring to taking control over our own actions, is a core driver of motivation and well-being. And when we depend on others to define our path, we run the risk of undermining our motivation, right? That motivation that we have naturally that belongs to us and originated in us. And when we do that, it leads to feelings of helplessness or helplessness and disengagement, not knowing which way to go, kind of. And on the other hand, actively choosing our goals and our responses fosters a sense of agency. Now, when I say agency, just a word used here just means the ability on to identify valued goals and our desired outcomes and aim toward those and to pursue those goals and outcomes proactively, purposefully, right, and effectively. And this is because proactively choosing our goals and our responses activate the brain's prefrontal cortex. That's part of the brain that's responsible for planning and decision making. Studies show that this activation increases intellectual resilience, and that helps us to adapt to challenges more effectively. Now, to take charge of our own lives in a way, we really got to clarify our values and set intentional goals. And this isn't about controlling every outcome. We all know, that life's unpredictability makes that pretty much impossible. But it is about aligning our actions with our priorities. Now, research on goal setting theory demonstrates that specific self directed goals increase performance and satisfaction compared to half-baked, vague, or externally imposed ones, right? Goal setting theory, a central concept in motivational psychology, says that specific and challenging goals, when accepted, can significantly improve performance and increase motivation. In a very practical sense, this means um, that we're identifying areas in our lives where we've deferred to others' expectations and committing to a single actionable step to reclaiming that ownership. And this shift empowers us to steer our lives, so to speak, with purpose and one that's grounded in our own vision. Now, I also mentioned leveling up our heart through forgiveness. Um, by that, I just mean that we're balancing out the highs and lows in a way that we feel through emotions. You see, when we trigger a memory, right, the brain floods us with the same chemicals we felt at the first time we had developed those memories, that first experience. And those chemicals fuel the emotions that we have as a part of that memory and that experience. And a lot of these can be resentment or anger, etc., negative, right? We've got good ones, but a lot of the ones we're talking about now are the negative ones, and we end up getting caught up in it. And doing that binds us to the past in a way, um, to the events that these memories are associated with, and that very effectively hinders, stops, or challenges our ability to move past them, to move forward in a sense. Now, neuroscience offers some insight here. Chronic anger triggers the amygdala. It's the brain's fear center. And as a result, we get elevated cortisol levels. And these things contribute to stress-related health issues like high blood pressure, weakened immunity, those sorts of things. We talked about that before. There was a 2019 meta analysis that was published in the Frontiers for Psychology. That study found that unforgiveness correlates with higher rates of anxiety and depression, while forgiveness reduces these risks by calming the amygdala, right? And boosts things like oxytocin, and that's a hormone that's linked to trust and to bonding. Now, uh, don't don't get me wrong. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful or reconciling the bad behaviors or singing kumbaya, with those that hurt us. It's a cognitive, intellectual and emotional process of releasing that, like grudge related burdens that we're carrying. Research from the Greater Good Science Center shows that forgiveness practices such as journaling, reflective journaling in particular, or guided meditation, that can lower stress and improve your mental clarity just in a few short weeks. And by letting go, we free up cognitive resources, right? Intellectual resources, allowing the brain to focus on future oriented thinking rather than getting caught or ruminating on the past and bad experiences. Now, the bottom line here is that harboring unforgiveness towards anybody or anything is only causing us some harm. And to apply what we're talking about here in a practical way, all you need to do really is to identify a source of resentment or hurt and then just do a structured forgiveness exercise in a way, right? And this could be writing a private letter of release, right? Or practicing a mindfulness technique, more accurately said, I guess, that's focused on just letting go, letting it go, not keeping it inside anymore, just letting it dissipate into the cosmos, if you will. And doing this cleanses the heart, right? It creates space for clarity of your mind and for optimism. That makes you feel better. Now, the third thing that I think I mentioned was paving our road to success through compassionate action. You see, success isn't just about personal achievement. Success is a life aligned with meaning and connection. That's what life is, and that's what success in life is. Compassionate action, which is a deliberate act of kindness towards somebody else, amplifies this alignment. Now, psychological studies, including one that was done in a 2020 paper in the Journal of Positive Psychology, demonstrated that pro-social behaviors like volunteering or supporting others, they increase the chemical serotonin or tonin and dopamine levels, which these are neurotransmitters that are associated with happiness and reward. Now, these actions also strengthen social bonds, which are critical for long-term well-being, as shown in Harvard's 80-year grant study on adult development. Now, compassionate action creates a loop, a feedback loop, if you will, which is to say that helping others gives us more of a sense of purpose, and that sense of purpose in turn fuels our motivation to pursue goals. So neuroimaging research reveals that unselfish acts activate the brain's ventral striatum. A strange word, 10-cent word. It's talking about a region of the brain that's associated with reward processing, motivation, decision making. It reinforces these behaviors. Now, practically, this means integrating small intentional acts of kindness into our routines, whether offering support to a colleague or a peer or a friend, donating to a cause you feel like is worthy and just, or listening attentively to somebody that's in need. These actions are not only benefiting others, but they help to solidify our path to a meaningful, successful life. So putting all this together, right, keeping our lives on track, on purpose, requires autonomy to direct our own path, forgiveness to clear emotional obstacles, and compassion, right, compassionate action to build a meaningful future. Now, these principles are supported, by science. Autonomy engages the prefrontal cortex for resilience. Forgiveness reduces the amygdala-driven stress we feel, and compassion boosts the reward-related neurotransmitters that we have. And all together, they form a network or a framework for intentional living. When you do all this intentionally, it really kind of unburdens your path. Now, as a practical takeaway, I think I would just encourage you to commit to 3 things this week. First, set a specific goal to assert your autonomy, right? Such as prioritizing a personal project. Secondly, practice forgiveness exercises to release a resentment or a hurt that you've been carrying. And third, do at least one good thing, one compassionate act for yourself, no matter how small, or even, for others, right? It's for you, but it's toward others, to foster that connection. And if you do this, if you track your progress, you're going to find out that it's pretty easy to reflect on how these things influence your sense of purpose and help you to move forward in life. So that's it for right now. I hope that you like the special little treat that I've got here. It is a song. It's called On Purpose. It was written for you and for this. And I hope that you have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for letting me speak. And many blessings to each and every one of you. Bye.
We've been drifting down the river, letting others guide the way, losing sight of what we're made for in the noise of what they say. But there's a spark in every heart where your dreams are meant to grow. Take a step to claim your story, put your inner light aglow. Set a goal, make it yours. Watch your spirit start to soar. Feel the fire in your soul, take control. Behold, let's live on purpose of every choice we make. Forgive those burdens for all our hearts' sake. With kindness we're paving a road to what's true. On purpose, let's walk through this life with a view. We've held grudges like they're anchors, keeping us in heavy chains. Every memory stirs the thunder, every scar replays the pain. But you can write a letter to the past, let it go into the breeze. Find your peace in sweet surrender, set your heart and mind at ease. Let it fade, let it heal. Find the calm in what you feel. Trust gentle way, free yourself, be brave. Let's live on purpose with every choice we make. Forgive those burdens for all our hearts' sake. With kindness we're paving a road to what's true. Every smile you share, every hand you hold, lights a fire in this world, makes our spirits bold. Success ain't just a crown, it's the love we give. In the bonds we build, that's the way to live. So reach out to one another with a word, a gentle deed. Every act of care we offer plants a tiny hopeful seed. We lift each other higher, happiness our sweet reward. In the joy of giving freely, we're connected, we're restored. Let's live on purpose with every choice we make. Forgive those burdens for all our hearts' sake. With kindness we're paving our road towards true. On purpose, let's walk through this life with a view. So choose your path with courage, let those grudges fade away. Spread compassion like a river, every moment, every day. On purpose we're rising, our hearts alive and new. Together let's live out this life with a you.